Hi, it's me. Bronchitis got me down for a while, but good thing I pre-record all these things, so I have plenty backups to put out there. But this would be fun fact. If you're following along with me, this would be fun fact, I believe, 25. But it's not so much a fun fact as deep thoughts. I wanted to try to start pushing the envelope and not just do silly stuff or promote my books or things like that, but also talk about life and things like that. And it's my 2 cents too. I kind of feel like fun facts, 2 cents, deep thoughts, goofy girl, stuff like this. But this is number 25. It's going to be a longer one because I'm going to delve into different things. The first one I wanted to talk about is labels. If you know anything about me, I don't like labels. I don't like acronyms. I don't like putting people in boxes. I think when you're born with a purpose, and it may just be to teach somebody else a lesson. It could be to learn something yourself. But there's always a purpose to your life, no matter how long or short it is or what you go through. There's a reason for everything. And when you're born, you're given a name. And maybe the name that suits you, may not. You may change it later in your life. But it's kind of one of girl, boy, or other, or Bob or Sue is one of the first labels you're given. And I think those labels shouldn't ever define who you are. No labels should define who you are. If you are Bob, you're Bob. And you are the unique Bob that is you. If you are Sue, you are Sue. And you are the unique Sue that is you. Whether you're transgender, homophobic, whatever labels you can think of, racism, all the labels of culture and understanding. You are you. No matter what vessel you came into this world, you are you, and you are unique. Yes, there's common ground. Yes, there's common unconsciousness. Yes, we're all humans. But if we were all exactly the same and fit into the same box, it would be really, really boring. You would not want a world that was just me. I would not want a world that was just me. That would be really boring. And oh my gosh, you would know the other person so well. The faults might get to you a little, their weaknesses and their downfalls that are a part of them that make them unique would make it very hard to live in a world with just me. So I'm glad that you exist. I'm glad that you exist. Do you understand? I'm glad that you exist. And the labels just create division and make people feel more than or less than. Why is that? Why do we compete that way? In the beginning it was for survival, but now we all should be surviving. We all should be surviving. So what is it? More? More? What is more? Labels don't work. They just divide us. Words are boxes that we created to describe our worlds, to make sense of things, to try to communicate with each other on the same level, though most people aren't on the same level. Then you have to translate. Music. I'm only supposed to be talking about labels here, so let me not go too far into language and how we communicate with one another. Labels are how we make sense of the world. There's things we really, really, really don't understand. And we put a name on it just to put it in a box so we can refer to it, but it really isn't what that thing is, and what that person is, or what that entity is. My two favorite words that we've boxed in is God and love. If you had to describe to somebody who didn't understand those words what they meant, it would take you a long time, unless you just focus on one aspect of what that means. And I think there's a lot of different words for those things. So, and I kind of equate them together as energy, but we don't, labels don't do us any good. Black, white. Once we lump a group of people together under a category that we think defines them, we've lost. We've lost the meaning in life. We've lost the purpose. We lost what we were born with. Look at the world with wonder, knowing you don't know it all. And the labels are only restricting. It's a way to explain a behavior or something, but it's not who that person is. And some people use these labels as crutches. Some people use labels as weapons, words and labels and as weapons or crutches. So they could be lazy, really, and not do the hard work to get to know somebody and find out who they are. So there's a lot more I can say about labels and language, which I may do at another time. But all those things only prove to divide us further and pull us backwards to a place that makes no sense in this world, where we should be making sure everybody has a home, a shelter, food, air, water, and are healthy. There's no reason why everybody on this planet can't have that much given to them when they are born. When they are born, those should be given. You shouldn't have to fight for those things. There's enough resources on this planet for everybody to have their basic needs fulfilled and to live happy lives. So I don't understand why we divide ourselves and we don't make sure each one of us has that safe place, that place where we can feel we are home. And labels, I think, are one of the things that make it impossible for most people to not think of themselves as better than and push other people down and step on them so they can rise higher in something that doesn't really matter. You don't take all this shit with you. You take the love and the memories of the love and the adventures in the ocean and the trees in this moment in time. That's what you take with you. So why we fight for all these things instead of... I got off labels again, I'm sorry. This was supposed to be about labels. We understand how labels can really, really screw up the world. So next time you call somebody a white bitch, or well, you know, those guys are like that, you're putting that whole group of people in a box and saying that's who they are. just because maybe one person in that group did that doesn't mean all those people who have that same characteristic or skin color or way of life is like that person. You need to give your instincts a chance and them a chance to show who they are instead of just labeling and labeling. Because that causes problems. You think you know, but you don't know. So sad. Stop with the labels and the acronyms. ADHD. Gosh, when I was young, I worked with severely retarded and autistic teenagers. You can't say that anymore. I have to say maybe severely handy-capable. And the kids I worked with that were autistic, they were full-on autistic. But now there's a whole spectrum of autism. A whole spectrum. And then if you think of a spectrum, well, then we're all autistic and we're all on the spectrum in some way or another. So then we're all part of the same thing. So who cares? You have to learn how to communicate on different levels with different people. I think I should stop talking about labels now. I think maybe you get the point that let's not, you can use these labels to try to describe somebody, but when you do use the labels and the words to describe yourself or somebody else, keep in mind that that's just a small part of who they are. And if you're labeling somebody like that, that's probably not an accurate representation of that person. And stop lumping like people together. The only people, I will say, the only people I feel that you can say something about is sociopaths. Sociopaths don't care one way or another. I know they're trying to teach them how to care and how to empathize. But sociopaths, when you're very egocentric, very narcissistic, very self-absorbed, very selfish, and you're leaning towards that a lot, and you're a sociopath, then you're a game player, and and you don't care. You don't care about anything. And so all those people, listen to me say those people who have come into the world that way, I have a hard time with. But that's one of my prejudices. We all have prejudices. I have prejudices against rich people. And I found a lot of my best friends were rich. What are you going to do? What are you going to do when you find out somebody that you really appreciate in your life has a lot of money? And for a long time you thought people with a lot of money were selfish assholes and just were going to be mean and put you down because you didn't have a lot of money. And money's another subject I can talk on and on about too. And see, I just slipped into prejudices. So I think I might not post this one because it is not just long, but I think I've gone off on a lot of tangents, which I tend to do. But maybe I should just post it just for a train of thought type of thing. So you can see that the next one I want to talk about will probably be, maybe I should talk about music and language, and maybe I should talk about prejudice and the balance. I better write all these down. I already have time travel. Time travel is probably going to be the next one. My thoughts on how time travel is represented now, the whole burrito theory. Oh, don't get into it, right? Don't go off on another tangent. I'm so sorry. But this was a lot, but I hope it makes sense to you. And if you have any comments, want to subscribe, hang in there. Hang in there. Okay. I still don't get this camera either. Anyway, ciao bellas.